Hi everybody, welcome to Round the Twist. This is episode 204 and it is April 22nd, 2015. Trying something a little bit different. Rather than using the webcam, I've got the flip, so don't have to worry about... Sorry, I had to shut off the monitor, my screensaver kicked on and cute baby pictures started popping up, so distractions are minimized. I just have you. That's everything. So grab your coffee, grab your knitting, crocheting, stitching, whatever you happen to be doing, and let's get started, okay? I've got, what do I have? Amaretto Supreme. I had to stop and think of the name. From San Marco Coffee again. This is one, I had tried one of their amaretto flavors years ago and hadn't cared for it, but this was a different amaretto. I believe the one I tried before was Amaretto Royale, and my dad and I both agreed it was actually his. My dad drinks decaf, so but he enjoys flavored coffees, so he had gotten this Amaretto Royale, and it smelled amazing, just absolutely wonderful when we were getting it brewed. And I just tried a little bit because I was like, yeah, it's decaf. The calf is the point. What's the point of decaf? I'm not jonesing for some hot brown water. So I just tried a little bit and I pretty much immediately spit it back in the cup. I couldn't even swallow it. Like I said, it smelled amazing, had that wonderful amaretto smell, but it almost had a plastic, chemically taste, like as soon as it hit the back of your tongue, and my dad said the same thing. We ended up throwing it out. We couldn't, a lot of times if we don't care for a specific kind of coffee, my parents will like take it to church the days that they host the little coffee donut fellowship hour between services before Bible study starts. And we're like, no, we can't even inflict this on other people. This is just, But the Amaretto Supreme, which is what I have today, is delicious. So, yay. I don't know if it was just a fluke or what happened, but there you have it. Actually, let me put my phone on silent here. There we go. So, first things first, what's on my needles? I've got several things this week, not just one. And the first one is the County Redemption. I'm going to do a little desk Tetrising here so I don't dunk something in coffee, because I'm sitting just as... Guys, you're going to have to let me know how the framing is, because I'm sitting a little bit further back from the desk than I normally do, because just... the flip doesn't have a front monitor, so I really can't see how things are going. So I hope everything's going okay. All I have is a little red light to stare at, which is a lot less intimidating actually than seeing myself on the screen. But let me know if things are off, or if I need to scoot back further, or what I need to do here, since I won't know until I'm done recording, and we're only going to do one take this time because the flip should record all the sound. So I decided I didn't even want to wrestle with that. Thank you everyone who gave suggestions for what to do with the webcam. I'm working on them. I just haven't had a chance to implement everything, and I'd rather not have the headache this week. So there you go. So first thing, what's on my needles is the County Redemption. And I actually got quite a bit done on this week. I finished the body. It's the County Rainbow Cardigan. Excuse me. Wow. I just had a complete and total brain fart there. County Rainbow Cardigan by Ruth Sorensen. I am knitting up the size medium. However, the thing I discovered while after I finished the body, and I should say I finished the 11 stripes I was doing for the body. I'm going off the pictures of my old one. Well, the one picture of it laying in its charred glory on the floor of the cabin from Rhinebeck 4 or 5 years ago. And I kind of looked at it, I mean, I've held it up and gone, yeah, that's a good length. That'll work right about there. That's where the armholes should start. And, well, then I actually broke out the tape measure. And I'm actually knitting the large length, but the medium circumference. Does that make sense? So I'm going off which there's basically an equal amount of length that's different between them. I'm not sure how that's going to affect the sleeves, but I'm going to fudge it and make it work. So here you have it. I'm kind of in the middle of a round, so let's see what I've got for you. And again, I can't tell if you guys can, how the lighting is, if you guys can see this, what's going on, so you're going to have to give me feedback. This little hold here, that's the bottom of my armhole, and you can see where I'm starting the steek for the armholes. Same thing on the other side. Obviously I got a couple of stripes mostly done. I just did the top closing off of the boxes on the current row that I'm on. So I need to go, actually let me pull up my tape measure here. I need to do 8 centimeters. And it's 8 centimeters whether I'm doing the medium length or the large length. So I'm at 6 centimeters right now, and that's when I'll start the neck shaping. Yes, I actually read ahead in the directions. So I think what I can do, let's see, I have about an inch to go, which is basically the straight rows that don't have any color work, that are just one color. And then, so about 6 more rows-ish, and then I'll be able to start the neck shaping. I'll cast off the front steek stitches that I have over on this side, and we'll go from there. So hopefully next week I'll have a little more progress for you. I thought I did pretty good. I'm up, I knit roughly 2 stripes since the last time I saw you. 2 stripes and a bit, because I was at 10. Where was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've knit 3 stripes. Yes. Awesome. Dang. I hadn't even realized that's how much I knit. I'm kind of impressed with myself. Okay. Sorry guys, that makes me happy. All kinds of happy. So I'm knitting that up on US 4s, 3.5 millimeter needles. I'm using, where did my thing go? Well, bugger. Well, there's another one. Luckily I saved all of my labels. So I'm using the County Effect Garn. Oop, and this label's ripped, so in the EF colorway. That, like I've said before, it's a little bit darker than the last time I knitted out of the EF colorway, and you know what? That's okay. I'm fine with that. Second thing, I actually cast on 2 things in the last couple days, and the first one's, I can't remember if I talked about it last week. No, I think I talked about this. Let me flip back here. Ah, there it is, underneath my book, of course. Try to be organized and I make things worse. Yep. So was this the one? No, I did talk about it 2 weeks ago on episode 202. The sock blank from Neely's Knits. The lovely Ashley from there was kind enough to dye up an ink blot blank, she calls them, in the colorway Knit Faster Zombies Are Coming. It's her 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I'm not sure which base that is out of hers, but it's gorgeous. Yep. Gotta find which project bag. And I've got this in my Tangerine Designs SSK bag that I got two summers ago at SSK from Casey. She does lovely, lovely work if you're looking for bags. Hers are beautiful. So the ink blot blanks are sock flats that she then dyes, and I don't know if she uses a bleach pen or how she gets the writing on it, but I asked her to do this one for hubby, and it says the top says Knit Faster, and it's rolling because it's in stockinette. But Knit Faster, Zombies Are Coming. Love it. And it's in all these shades of kind of gray, green, red, brown gorgeousness. And I have just barely started these. I cast them on a couple nights ago, and that's all I did was the cast on. And then this morning, while I was waiting for a landscaping guy to show up, I started in and managed to get about 8-9 rows of ribbing done. So I'm just knitting these up, my typical 72 stitch vanilla sock. However, this time I'm going to do a heel flap for hubby instead of a afterthought heel. I've only knit him socks with afterthought heels, but all the other socks I've knit for him are striping repeats, and this doesn't have a striping repeat, it's just there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a plain vanilla sock and do the heel flap, and yeah, we'll see how he likes it. Tough if he doesn't, that's what he's getting. If he wants something different, he can learn to knit. That's my philosophy right now. So he's kind of excited about these. I am not using the Chigu needles or my Addi Turbos. My mom was kind enough to bring me a few sets of US ones that she's not using anymore. And I believe, I was going to say these were Hayas. I don't think they are. I think these are carbons. And I think they're a 24-inch cable, which is a lot shorter. They're either a 20, they might be a 36. It's a shorter cable than I'm used to. I typically, even when I'm only knitting one sock, I like to magic loop on a 40-inch, so I'm kind of getting used to having just this little wee loop sticking out over here. But I'm using the US ones, 2.25 millimeter nails, and it's coming out, so far there's like little bits, well I guess there's more on that side for you guys to see. There's little bits of green here and there, but it's mainly this mottled gray, which is fine. And I'm loving it. It's just, I'm unknitting the blank as I'm knitting the sock, so you get this lovely noodly yarn that reminds me of ramen noodles. But so far I'm not seeing any, well, my stitches might be seem a little bit inconsistent from it, but the way I tension the yarn wrapping it around my little finger seems to be helping pull that out, but it'll all block. It's fine. It's just like unknitting or ripping out a project that you don't love anymore, and you soak the yarn in the sink to help it relax back into its former state where it's not all kinked up from being knit into a project. So just a little bit on that, but it's kind of a fun thing. The babies were, the other day, had grabbed this off the couch and were kind of traipsing around with it thrown around their necks and sharing it back and forth between the two of them. But it's kind of nice not to have to worry about a yarn ball or yarn cake rolling away. I can just shove this in the bag, and as long as the end that I'm knitting off of is up, it will continue to unravel. So that's cool. So that's living there. Let's see. I told you it's the Neely's knits. Yes. So basically I've got part of the ribbing done. And I'm not sure how much ribbing I'm going to do exactly, but part of a 1x1 rib done for those socks. And then I started one more thing. So I talked about how I was kind of thinking I was in a shawl space. And I was really leaning toward the My Wish, which is a shawl by Laura from the Knit Girls that she did, ooh gosh, 4 or 5 years ago for it was a fundraiser that Lynn Zim did. She and her friends were running the Denver Oyster. I think it was to raise money for Make-A-Wish, if I remember right. But Laura designed this beautiful shawl, and it was striped and had a lace bit at the bottom, kind of semicircular. Beautiful. I love knitting with it. I knit it with some Volmisa and some hand spun that I had done out of, I think it was out of some Enchanted Knoll Farms, if I remember right. And I loved it, But when I finished, I kind of went, it's really not my colors. I really don't think I'd wear this much. So I donated it to Lynn to use as part of the door prizes for the fundraiser, try to raise even more money. And I gave it away. So I don't have a My Wish of my own. So I had kind of been leaning toward that. And then I kind of fell down a rabbit hole. So this should probably go in various and sundry, but since we're talking about the shawl now, I'm going to do that. I've sadly, as many years as as many festivals as I've been to that Miss Babs has been to, I have bought one thing from her, and that was the lace color affection kit that I knit my mom's color affection out of last year. And that's the only thing I've gotten from her. I've squished a lot of her stuff because her yarn is very squishable, especially the Yowza. I've looked at it and gone, I don't need another sweater's worth of yarn. So instead, what did I do? I went on the website the other day, and Susan B. Anderson's been making those gorgeous, excuse me, I'm very, very sorry. Susan B. Anderson's been designing those gorgeous Yowza Way-It shawls. She has Yowza Way-It shawl 1, 2, and 3 now, and they all have a slightly different shape and a different edging on them, without giving away any secrets from the pattern itself. The beauty of it is you can take the yarn, and all you need is a kitchen scale, and just weigh the yarn as you, at one point, when you think you've got about this much left, weigh it and go, yep, and that's when you start the edging, and then keep weighing it, and when you've got about this much left, that's when you bind off. So I'm kind of excited about it. So I went on the Miss Babs website, and I went through, and all these shawls are like lovely squishy garter stitch shawls. I went through and I kind of had a small fall down. In fact, I had to get my mom on the phone to help me make it a smaller fall down than it was, because yeah, I tend to go a little nuts with the yarn purchasing, and I hadn't really bought any yarn except for the stuff for hubby's socks recently. That's really been it, but nothing's really been leaping out at me and saying, yes, buy me now, knit me, and I've got all that gorgeous stuff back in my craft room. So I kind of pulled myself away, but then I was like, dang it, you know what? I deserve something. It's been a cruddy few months, and yeah, so I went a little nuts, and these are, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw these. This is 2 of the 3. I'll show you the third one in a minute. The first one, and this is going to be Yowza Shawl 2. Again, I don't know if you can read the label or not. It's one of the Babettes, a repeatable Babette, and it is Coffee Break. So it's this gorgeous kind of grays and browns and that lighter yellow and the natural cream color of the yarn, and so squishy and so soft. The Yowza is a light worsted. It's 100% superwash merino. It's also 560 yards. These are huge skeins. You're definitely getting your money's worth. And then the other one is going to be, and I chose this color before I even went and bought the patterns, so I did not realize this is the same color that Yowza Way-It Shawl number 3 by Susan B. Anderson is knit in. This is Berlin. It just jumped out at me, and it's, again, I don't know how the colors are, you guys. I'm so sorry. There's purple and yellow and green and red and blue and this dark charcoal and loveliness. And then the third one I had to get, and this one's actually already wound up because I started knitting the first Yowza Way-It shawl, the original. This lusciousness. And because I know there are small ones who do watch the show, we're not going to use the actual name. I'll hold up the tag so you can see it, but we're going to call this the Guano Crazy Shawl. There you go. That's the actual name. And guano is another name for that. So we'll stick with that. So my Guano Crazy Shawl, which doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but that's what we're going to call it because little pictures have big ears. So this is the first Yowza Way-It shawl by Susan B. Anderson. I'm using Miss Babs' Yowza What a Skein in the unmentionable name. and I'm knitting it up on my US 9 Signature Fixed Circulars, and that is a 5.5 millimeter needle, and I just cast it on this morning. So in between knitting on the sock, ribbing for hubby, and the landscaping guy, and the baby's naps, I knit this, catching up on Forever on the ABC app. And obviously I haven't done much, but I'm already loving it, seeing highly variegated yarn. Garter stitch shawl. It's so squishy. It's so lovely. I'm excited. And why do I do this? Why? It's garter stitch. Every single thing that I am knitting is garter and or stockinette. I need to get something with cables or some kind of lace or something. Something, because I do this every time. I cast on a bunch of projects and then I realize, oh my gosh, it's all this, and I'm bored out of my gourd and I hate everything that I'm knitting on. But I keep plugging away at it and complaining every week. Well, I'm hopefully not going to do that. No promises. But that is living in, I actually have the lovely Jessalou. This is one of her bigger box bags that she and her mom were nice enough to send to me as a wedding gift, actually, a couple of years ago. So this is the size of her typical box bag, the Jane hat bag here. And this is the larger box bag if you're ever looking for a size comparison. And I figure it's probably going to outgrow this at some point, and I'll switch to an even larger bag if I can find one in my stash. But for right now, it seems to be working quite well. I mean, this is like half the size of my head, right? Roughly. 560 yard skein. Fits in the bag. I mean, and it's taking up the bottom half of the bag, maybe. So there's plenty of room for it to grow. Plenty of room. Yeah. So that's set, ready to go. It's in my giant cupcake bag from Jessalou. That's everything that I have on my needles. And you guys, can I tell you how awesome it is to not have to worry about the sound cutting out, or, oh my gosh, I need to rush because this is the second time through and I'm just ticked off about the camera. This is just, hopefully, fingers crossed, the flip is working, and it's making me so happy that I can take my time and not feel rushed, and therefore not make you all feel rushed either. So, deep breath, drink the coffee, and moving on. Pokey things. I have no spinning, haven't touched the wheel. I have been stitching a bit, and last week I had just started to do some of the frame down the, as you're looking at it, down the left hand side, and I had said I wanted to finish enclosing in the first block and then start on that and do the first block and then finish what's the middle block and do that. So I did. Here we go. This is Once Upon a Time sampler from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I finished enclosing the frame on the outside, the edging, and I did a little bit more just because I was on a kick and I wasn't done with my bits of thread that I had, so I kept going until I ran out of thread. And then I started on the January block, so I'm going to fold this down again so just so we can get up a little higher. Sorry for sneezing, my nose is running. There we go. So I kind of picked and chose where I was going and did a little bit of everything. So I've got most of the first dwarf done, including his face. I've got part of the little laundry soap bottle down here. The first month's block, by the way, if no one's seen this, is Snow White. And Snow White and a couple dwarves are doing laundry. So this is going to end up being Snow White down here. That's her skirt. There's going to be another dwarf here. It's apples in various stages of being eaten. And this is part of a laundry basket. So the little red that you see there is some red clothes that happen to be in the basket. There will be a clothesline up here. I think the magic mirror is down here. And then there's soap bubbles everywhere. So you'll see a little bit more of that. I'm still loving this. It's going to be fun because now that I'm on the blocks, it's like just when you start to get distracted and go, ooh, I want something else, boom, you're done. And you can move on to a different color or another little bit, and you get all these little feelings of accomplishment of, ooh, I finished the dwarf, ooh, I finished the clothesline, ooh, I finished this. And it's the nice thing about the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery is as you finish each little bit, it's like a whole, yay, awesome, I finished something. So, love it. It's getting worked on as I'm making my way through Stargate Atlantis again. But I need to finish. I can't stitch on it while I'm watching Game of Thrones, so that's the other thing that I'm watching. A coworker was, I don't get HBO, but a coworker who has the DVDs was nice enough to loan all the seasons to me, and I'm halfway through season 4, and I realize season 5 is playing right now, so it's perfect. I'll get caught up and then wait for season 5 to come out. Alright, so that's it for Pokey things. We're on to Various and Sundry. The Redemption knit along. Thank you everyone who's joining in. I can't remember one of the girls over on Rav. She actually was trying to knit this shawl that she'd been knitting on for years, and the yarn kept breaking on her. I don't know if it was a thinness issue, if, like, she'd even knit and be several rows past a point and see the yarn break further back and have to rip back and start over or try to join it, and she was hating it, hating every second of it. And I'm sorry, I can't remember your Rav name. I'm drawing a blank. So I told her, you know what? Redemption is wiping the slate clean. Let's just take it off the needles, stomp on it, burn it, throw it away, whatever you want to do. Post a picture of it in the FO thread, we'll call it good. Because there's no point, this is not, the Redemption KL is meant to be fun. It's not meant for you to have to torture yourself. It's meant to finally achieve victory in whatever form that is over something that's been taunting you or I don't want to say torturing you, that's the wrong word. Taunting you, mocking you for a while, and you want to get that one thing out of your UFO bin, or finally do something that you thought, oh no, I could never do that. And I want to see people succeed. I don't want to see you being tortured or beating yourself up because you can't get something to work. And two, if you need help with something, ask on the Rav boards. That's what the Rav boards are for. Other people can help too. It's not meant to torture yourself. That's what I'm trying to get at. So if what you pulled out for the Redemption KL, you're not enjoying it, pick something else. Throw it away. If you don't care for it, rip it off the needles. Like I said, stomp on it, burn it, throw it in the trash. Torch it in the oven. Heck. I do not recommend that. Do not torch it in the oven. I don't want any of you creating a house fire. Please burn things safely outside in a fire pit if you're going to burn them. So that's it for the Redemption KAL. That will go as long as I'm knitting my County Redemption sweater. And we have a lovely prize from Neely's Knits that I've shown, the Kiss the Girl in her Super Sock base. It's 80/20 superwash merino and nylon. It is gorgeous. It's based on the song Kiss the Girl from The Little Mermaid. It's so pretty, and you guys are lucky it's a prize, or it would be going in my stash. Last, I am going to Estes. So if you're going to be up there, I'm planning on going both days. I don't know if I'll have the hubby and babies in tow both days, if it's going to end up being a partial day with them, what we're going to end up doing, I'm really not sure. So we're going to kind of play it by ear. If you see me, I'll probably be pushing a double wide stroller with the babies. If you see me on my own, it either means hubby has taken them off somewhere or I am there on my own. So either way, please come up and say hi. Just like we've done in the past. Just don't glomp onto me from behind without any warning. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, I'd love to meet people. So come up, say hi. Tell me you watch the show, so it's not just, hey, Karen, how you doing? And I'm going, ooh, should I know you from somewhere? Because remember, you could see me, I can't see you. It's not a two-way mirror. So that's all I have to say and that goes for any podcaster you see out in the wild. We can't see you guys. We don't know who you are aside from your avatars. So come up, introduce yourself, say, hey, I love the show, something. Just to give us kind of a mental cue of where you're coming from, and it's really, really helpful. I think that's it. So we're done for the week. Hopefully everything recorded and it will go over on the website smoothly. Again, fingers crossed that it all went well, and so until next week, happy knitting.